All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Obviously, coming off a Saturday, it was a great weekend for our football team. Our players went out there and played an exceptionally high level against a program that has been so very successful, and a program that we've really struggled against over the last few years. In being able to defend and obviously to have this success against them. And so for our football team to go out there, played at an unbelievably high level. Our defense, I thought, was phenomenal. Created 5 takeaways. Our offense, even though we weren't always clicking on all cylinders, made the plays necessary to put ourselves in a position to be successful. Special teams showed up big. Couple big kicks by the freshmen to ensure the victory. And all in all, just the effort was absolutely incredible. It was relentless all over the field. The passion which our kids played with. It was a wonderful day. The Tiger Nation coming out and supporting. I think we're over 40,000 fans there for another home game, which I think was the 3rd time so far this season we've been able to do that. The support, the excitement with everything that we're doing, we feel that growing within our program. Coming out yesterday, top 25 in the AP poll, it's great exposure. It's great exposure for our university, great exposure for our football team. The fact that, there is that national recognition of what's going on here. But like I said a couple weeks before, the number 4 name doesn't necessarily define who we are. You've got to go out there and you've got to earn it. And this week, we've got a short week. We go on the road to Houston, which is a phenomenal football team. They're coming off a little bit of a setback, much that reminds me much like the setback we had a few weeks ago when we went down to Orlando. They were in a game that was very close. Through 3 quarters, had a couple turnovers. Bad things happened, but we're playing a team that is extremely talented, very explosive, and very well coached. And so we know we're going to have a quick turnaround. You don't get to celebrate the last one. You got to focus on the next one. And so going down there, we've got an abbreviated week. Our kids are excited about this game because they know what comes with this game. The last 3 games between Memphis and Houston have all come down to 1 score. It's been a 60-minute game. We know that's what we're going to see, and that's what we've got to prepare for. And we've got to have a great week of preparation to make sure we can put ourselves in a position to have success. But we are definitely looking forward to the opportunity.
Coach, when you saw that Houston had lost to Tulsa, were you kind of like, oh man, this is not going to make my job any easier this week?
Well, there's nothing that's going to make my job easier this week. Going on the road to play at Houston on a short week, I know what this football team that we're going to play, the talent that they have, the coaching staff, this is going to be a tremendous battle. And our kids, there's nobody in our football program are concerned at all with what the result of their last game was. We know that we're going to get their absolute best shot, and we better be clicking on all cylinders if we want to have an opportunity to win.
Riley tweaked his knee, but he was able to go back in the game. Is it still pretty much okay?
Yeah, I mean, Riley obviously he was a little sore there afterwards, but I think he's going to be fine as moving forward.
What stands out about Houston when you look at them?
Well, you look at them, they're very multiple. Offensively, they're multiple in what they do. They want to have balance, running, throwing. They got a quarterback that can do a little bit of both. They have depth at quarterback. They've used 2 of them this year. Big receivers, guys that can run, and just explosive players all over that side of the ball. Defensively, it all starts with their defensive tackle, Ed Oliver, who I think is probably the most impactful player in our conference. One of the most impactful defensive linemen in the country. At any school I've ever been at, if we were playing this young man, I'd say it's one of the best players, regardless of conference, regardless of where they are. He is a phenomenal player. And then when you take a phenomenal player and you surround them by so many other explosive athletes that can cause problems with a good defensive scheme, it definitely it leads you to some sleepless nights, and we don't have enough nights not to sleep. So we got a lot of work to do, and it's going to take the best of our preparation to be able to handle these guys defensively.
Coach, you mentioned
you're a freshman and sophomore.
the top 15 in interception. Talk about their development, Carter and Hall.
Yeah, both those guys have played at an extremely high level. We talked about TJ this year, and you continue to be impressed with him, and what he's able to do as a pass defender. But then you also saw in the game, a couple big hits that he made, third down stops. He's just a relentless football player. And then Austin, the versatility that he shows. He's the conference defensive player of the week this week, well deserved. I mean, I think it was two interceptions. The forced fumble or fumble recovery, and I think it was 10 tackles. Austin was this past week, we were able to put him back at free safety and really let him run sideline to sideline. He was involved in all pass coverages and also fit in the run. He was just really pleased with his preparation and the way that he went out and played. I think he's showing himself as one of the top defenders that we have in the league. So to know that both those guys are still young, it shows that the future is bright for them and their careers, and we're sure glad we have them.
Coach, kind of a two-parter. Austin was playing like free safety. You moved him back there, you had everybody. A little bit about the work it took to come up with that scheme with you and Chris Ball, the defensive coordinator, and then how on such a short week do you go from changing up everything you were doing to face Navy? Now you got to play a more traditional team.
Well, I mean, I think hats off to Chris and the defensive coaching staff. I mean, the preparation, the planning, the overall understanding of what they wanted to try to execute last week against Navy it took a lot of time. It was something that stretched back from the summer to spring ball, and then to be able to implement it here in a week's period of time was very impressive. And our kids believed in it. They went out and played at a high level. But the thing that was phenomenal about was the 5 takeaways, and that came from just finish. That came from passion. That was relentless effort. And we've had some moving parts on defense this year. We've had guys with injuries, different other circumstances that we've had to move guys around. And you look at Jannard Avery played exclusively at defensive end. You've had Sharif White was back at linebacker. John Cook down at the edge, forcing unit. Austin at the back. Everybody doing that had a different job they had to do. But there was still one focus, and they prepared at an unbelievable level. And then it showed up on game day, which was a very proud moment. Chris deserves all the credit. The defensive coaching staff deserves all the credit, and because they got those guys to go play. And I was really proud of that. And then to flip the switch, and now you prepare for a Houston team that is so very explosive and so very capable of making you look really bad because of what they do. That's what presents a challenge. And I'd like to say that when the schedule came out, I didn't notice, but I noticed now these two games backed up to each other, and so we know it's going to be a great opportunity for us, but also a wonderful challenge. And our kids' focus, it started right after the game for us. I went home, grabbed a pizza, and started watching Phil, preparing for this one. And so it is it's something that it's a quick turnaround, but our guys will be ready.
Coach, you mentioned the ranking. The last time Memphis was ranked, it was Houston that knocked them off. How do you guard against that, especially on a short week?
It's like I said, the ranking is great for exposure, but that number doesn't define who we are. We've got to go earn it every week. We're not going to need an extra motivational speech, going into this one. We have to prepare to the best of our ability because we're going against a really good football team that is very capable and is one of the best home records over the last few years of any team in college football. So all those things line up. Just because we have a number in front of our name doesn't give us any added advantage. If we want to keep that, you better go out there and you better play to the best of your ability. And we're grateful for the exposure. We're grateful for the recognition from people across this country on where our program's going. But just like anything else, you've got to earn it.
The penalties finally didn't come back and work against you.
Say it again, sir.
The penalties. Finally, you got those under control. Is there something you did in the preparation for the game that kept those to a minimum this week?
We're continuing to emphasize, focus on. There were still some that showed up that we'd like to get eliminated. But the thing that has not showed up in the recent weeks has been the personal foul penalties, the extracurricular, and that's something our guys are playing with a lot more focus and control on in each of those decisions. And so that's something I'm pleased on. But there's still some focus penalties that we've got to get eliminated. The pre-snap, motion, things like that we're working hard at.
You were talking about guarding against, you got the number in front of your name now and everybody's happy about that. All your goals that you set at the beginning of the year now are all back on the table with San Diego State losing. You are in the drive. If you catch this Houston team, that'll put you in the driver's seat to win the West. get in the championship game against what could be an undefeated team from the East, which could put you in if you win that, could put you in the New Year's Day, the big game. How do you keep your guys from thinking ahead? How do you keep from thinking ahead to that?
I'm impressed with all the thinking you put towards it. To be honest with you, 100% focus this week. I have not talked to our team one bit about anything beyond this week, nor did I the week before, or the week before, or the week before. We know what is necessary. All right, you win this week. That's what you have to do. That's what's asked and required of you. The same thing before we went to Central Florida. That's what was asked, that was required. We did not get the job done. So all of what you hope for in the future, what you do on this field this week, what you do in your preparation, your practice, your film study, how you go to class, how you're take care of your body, all of those things are going to contribute to what you're able to show on Thursday night. And if we take care of our business, we go out there and play to the best of our ability, put ourselves in a position to be successful, then I believe in what can come of this football team. But at the end of the day, it's not because you have a goal set that if this happens, that happens. No, you focus on today. Go out there and be the best you can possibly be. Prepare your butt off, and then hopefully you go out there and play at a high level.
Mike, this is your third weekday game so far this season. Do you get used to the challenge, and what are the challenges constantly preparing for that?
It is. It's we love the exposure. I mean, it's great for our program. Like I said, I love seeing the Memphis logo. There on national TV. Obviously a number of people that are able to witness what's going on here. But when you look at the schedules, when you're dealing with classes, you're looking at the routine. We don't have a routine. It's been so crazy this season. Whether it was a game being canceled, a game being moved, moving from a Thursday or from a Saturday to a Friday. We have had no routine this year. But once again, that's a wonderful compliment to the young men and the coaches that we have within this program, because you're going to see adversity. There's going to be unexpected events that occur, and so how do you respond to that? You've got to just put your head down, go forward, and focus on doing your job. And so even though it's a short week, man, we have to adapt some things to how we prepare, but we've got to go get it, and we've got to go get it. We got to go on the road, and we're going to be jumping into a hostile environment, which I'm sure we're going to see some adversity there as well. So it's all going to come down to how our guys can handle that.
But the exposure you said that you get, the recruiting advantage, I mean, where does it come to play?
Oh, it's a great advantage because we're going into all these living rooms and trying to educate the young men that we're recruiting about what the University of Memphis football's where it is, but not only where it is, where it's going. And you have a game like Saturday where you're back to back victories over top 25 teams. You see the excitement within the community. There's a buzz about what's going on here, and so for recruits to be able to see that and be a part of it, it's huge because it's a name recognition, the face recognition, and so they can see that this is something they want to be a part of moving forward. And it's been wonderful for our recruiting efforts. It's been great for the exposure for the city, and that's something that we definitely enjoy.
And Coach, following up on that, how a Thursday night game, how do the guys feel about that? Do they get super excited to be in the spotlight on Thursday as opposed to where everybody's playing on Saturday?
It's it definitely is something that they I tell them about it, and they take a great deal of pride in knowing that they're going to be the primetime show across the country when it comes to college football. So to be playing on ESPN is an exciting thing. It's something that we know that there's been a lot of eyes on it. And I knew that this game coming into the season before the schedule ever came out, I had a pretty good sense this game would be a Thursday night primetime game. And so because this is a game that has attracted a phenomenal play, it's been a lot of action. Two really good football programs clashing together, and it's going to be one I'm glad I get to be a part of it.
Hey, Coach, where were you when you heard that you ranked top 25, and what did it mean personally for you, not as a team, but personally?
To be honest, I was sitting in our coach's office, our coaching staff room, and I was watching film. Somebody texted me and said, "Hey, we're top 25." I said, "Okay, it won't last long if we don't win." So, for us, it is like I said, it's a great thing. It's I love being a part of this program and the young men that I get to coach. The work that our coaches put into it. it's humbling, but it's also a great honor, and that people recognize what's going on here and where we're going. But at the end of the day, rankings are rankings, and it's somebody's opinion, and that opinion will change based off your actions. So if we don't go out there and earn it this week, then it won't be there. And so that's something that our kids understand. You look across college football, and last week there were so many top 10 teams that got knocked off in decisive fashion. Because what you see is who you are. And if we go out there and we play to the level that we're capable of, I'm excited about where this team could go. If we go out there and you don't prepare at that level, we're fully capable of being beat back.
There seems to be a family atmosphere around the team. Like the players will pretty much do anything you ask them, and you seem to love on them for that. So, what came first? Did you treat them like kids first, or did they reciprocate that? Or
from the first day that I got here, the very first talk I ever had with this team was about what I wanted this program to look like. And to me, I've got 110, 115 kids that are all from different stories, all from different upbringings, backgrounds, and they've all been brought to Memphis for a specific purpose. The one common factor that everybody will have a vision of is what a family is. Now, some of those families might be grandfathers, they might be foster parents, they might be moms, dads, split parents, but they all understand what a family looks like when it comes to values. And so when I stood in front of the team the very first time, I told them, I laid out the values of what we would stand for. Service, sacrifice, and working hard to be a respectful and a respectable program. And and those kids all understood that. But I told them at the end of it, I said, guys, I can come up here and give you a speech, but at the end of the day, man, I'm not asking you to trust anything that I say. Just give me an opportunity to show that I'm trustworthy. And if as a head coach and our coaching staff, if we can be the example to our players for what we want this program to look like, then we have a much better chance for the buy-in. And that's what I've been probably most proud of, is that, we've all been able to do it together. I didn't know a handful of players when I took the job here at Memphis, but now they are my family. And there's something that, I pour my heart into them, they pour their heart into us. It's something that we all, we've had highs, we've had lows, we've had good days, we've had bad, but man, we do it together, and we continue to try to bring out the best in each other. And I tell you, it's a wonderful group to be a part of.